Hello. Today I have the pleasure of introducing two words of the day. We'll talk about the distinct differences between articulation and diction. What's the difference with articulation and diction? And before we jump right into those words of the day, I have a lot of patients and students that ask, well, Frazier, why should someone want to change their vocal behaviors or their voice to begin with? And by the end of the video, we'll have 5 reasons why someone would want to improve their voice or vocal behaviors. But I tell all of my students, talking about vocal behaviors and voice correction is a very delicate topic because if we think about it, our language or our voice represents our identity, who we are, and what we want to portray to the world. If we think about how language was acquired, it was acquired by mimicking those around us, typically our loved ones or other people in our socioeconomic culture. So therefore, our identity lies in our voice. So it has to be approached very delicately. So I have a little friend with me today. We're going to talk about articulation. And so what's the difference with articulation and diction? So we know we have different articulators such as our teeth, our tongue, our lips, our velum, and they all shape individual sounds such as the T or the B or the C or the S. Those are all individual sounds. So when a person has articulation, that means that they individually produce sounds. And from an anatomical perspective, articulation means it's the point where 2 different anatomical parts come together. They articulate together. Therefore, articulation means that we produce an individual sound clearly. Diction, however, takes that definition a little bit higher. To have great diction means not only did we produce an individual sound clearly, however, diction means that we expressed our ideas as well clearly. I say all the time, and I've said in previous videos, do we sound as though we intend? A lot of times we can practice, rehearse what we want to say in our head. However, as it comes down with muscles in our articulators, sometimes the message is lost. The articulation is not there. So to have articulation and diction, they do go hand in hand. However, they're 2 distinct terms. So when we have great articulation and great diction, that leads us to having a great voice. And to have a good voice, that means that a person expresses their ideas and sounds clearly. That means they have great resonation. That means that they have stable and well-supported adequate breath for the message. It means that the pitch level is appropriate for the message and the speaker. The rate of speech is clearly understood. And then ultimately, when a person has great articulation, great diction, it leads their voice to having variety. So I'm going to leave you with 5 reasons or tips why someone should want to improve their voice. And number 1 is really important. It's voice recognition technology. So if you don't have any reason to want to change your vocal behaviors, it's Siri or Alexa or it's different voice recognition technologies that we have all around us in our lives. How frustrating is it to ask Siri 7 times, what's the weather? What's the time? If you don't articulate well, the voice recognition technology won't understand you, which is ever growing in our civilization. A second reason why a person will want to change some of their vocal behaviors or their voice is for vocal behaviors. As we talked about, our voice psychologically as well as physiologically affects how a person feels around us. And the whole goal of communication is to foster a comfortable environment for an exchange of ideas and thoughts. A third reason a person will want to change their vocal behaviors is to decrease articulation errors. Articulation is actually linked with intelligence as well as friendliness. When a person has more articulation errors, they're seen as less intelligent and they're seen as less friendly. A fourth reason a person will want to change their voice or their vocal behaviors is to limit or increase their speech. Cultural speech limits a person to only this culture in which the speech is comfortable. By limiting cultural speech, we increase people that we can communicate with around the world. And the fifth reason that a person should want to change some of their vocal behaviors or their voice is for personal confidence. The better we sound, the better we feel, and the more confident we are. So We do know now that there's a difference, a distinct difference with having great articulation of individual sounds and diction producing individual sounds and our ideas correctly. So the next time you want to talk to someone, make sure not only do you have great articulation, but what you intend to say actually comes out as though you intended to say it.